No invitations, we showed up and made it. No invitations, we showed up and made it. No invitations, we showed up and made it. Showed up and made it. Showed up and made it. It can get scary when you legendary.
Hey, welcome to We Made It, #1 football show in the world. Bam here. We got C's in the unknown location, the Batcave. Say what's up.
Hey, bad reception here, but what's good?
Yeah, if I can't hear you, I'm just gonna start talking over you, and I'll just do the show myself.
Nothing I'm not used to.
Okay, yeah, that's true. We Made It, #1 football show in the world. Here to talk about really important topics. We got the big transfer, the big. Caesar, you're dealing with some stuff over there. You got to drink your tea on the camera.
Yes.
You got to go ahead and do that. Okay.
Struggle's real down here.
Down here. Okay. All right. Now we got some. Okay, Caesar, we got the big transfer, big American transfer. We got Pulisic to Chelsea. Big news. Are you excited?
I don't know if excited is the word, but I think it's more like I'm anxious to see what he can do. He has a lot to prove, and I think that on We Made It podcast we talked about. We had a message to Pulisic episode.
Well, that was after the USA didn't make it to the World Cup.
Yeah, and I mean, since then, America's been committing to playing young guys. I think that's the most positive thing I could say is they're playing young people. Mm-hmm. But I don't really understand this move very much, but I can never hate on somebody securing the bag.
Well, okay, you've criticized Pulisic's stats in the past. I got some of his stats here. From what I was able to gather, Pulisic has made 81 league appearances for BVB, 10 goals, 13 assists in 81 appearances. He's made 20 appearances in Champions League. He scored a couple goals. I don't know if he's had any assists. He's played 40-plus games in the last 2 seasons, which I think is a big deal.
A lot of playing time.
Yeah, he's got pretty good experience in one of the top leagues in Europe, and he's played in Champions League. So, I mean, it doesn't look like a bad move to me. I've seen some criticism about it, but, you know, he's a young guy. He's, 22 years old, I think, or 20 or something like that. 22, he's in his early 20s. I think this could be a good move for Chelsea. I like him as a player. I haven't seen him play a whole lot, but I think he's solid. I think he can play in EPL.
I mean, I think if this was any other situation, it'd be a good move. I think a step up. I think moving to Premier League is good for him. But if we're going to talk about history, Chelsea's track history with young players moving there, it's not necessarily successful. We're talking about Marco Marin. He was a highly rated player. He went on loan for like 8 years in a row. Victor Moses. It took him forever to get back and start as a right wing back of some sort. And then we're going to talk about Mo Salah. That was a big move from I believe it was Basel.
Basil. We're going to say Basil.
Okay, we're going to say Basel. From Basel, and you can't tell me Pulisic, necessarily is better than... I mean, maybe you could at the same time, but I felt like in that Champions League, he was balling out too. So, I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad move. I wouldn't say all that, but I think it's... The $72 million price tag was pretty big for me. I mean, usually when you're paying that much for player services, you usually see a lot more productivity on the stat sheet, or you see a lot of shine. And I always said that I loved his skill set. I thought he was a really good player. Yeah. I just didn't see the final thing, the cherry on top. I didn't see the cherry on top with him. Maybe this is some loan spells would do it for him, but I feel like being at BVB was an opportunity was giving him a lot of opportunities. And I know that Sancho kid is balling out over there, so we probably had to get going somewhere. And I hope that Chelsea doesn't send him on the loan train to Vitesse and all these random teams forever.
Well, I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't know. We don't really know. I mean, maybe that was just Mourinho doing all that, but I just hope that it doesn't happen because that's a really talented player. And it'd be really cool to see an American player kind of start like
shining in the
league, in the big league.
Yeah. I mean, Chelsea, in my opinion, people have their opinions about Chelsea. I think Chelsea is... Someone would say they're not a big club. Somebody like some other fan could argue that. I think they're a big club.
They're a huge club.
Yeah, and they're a successful club as well. Yeah. They've won, in the last 10 years, Chelsea's won 3 league titles, 3 FA Cups, 1 League Cup. They won Champions League and Europa. That's pretty good,
No, anybody that says Chelsea's a big club is being ignorant. That's a big club.
I mean, I hear people saying that in the different fandoms, but it looks like he's going to be there to replace, not necessarily replace, but to kind of fit in that Willian and Pedro role. And I don't really know what's going on with Victor Moses, but
he's more of a fullback. I mean, I can definitely see him being a Pedro for the team for the next couple of years or so, unless I'm wrong. He just starts balling out. I mean, perhaps
he's not a Hazard. Like they're saying, if Hazard leaves, like Pulisic cannot be Hazard. Like, there's a totally different level.
My question is, I don't really know what Pulisic is going to be playing out here. I mean, I've seen him in America. They're kind of putting him in the middle. I mean, that's weird.
Yeah,
I've seen him being on the left, but I'll see him on the right. I don't really know what his comfort zone is.
He's pretty good on both feet. I think.
Yeah, I think he is too. But I know he kind of likes to do that. Get that foot on the right side, get on the ball on the right foot.
He'd
on
rather
the left
shoot
side.
with his
He likes that, you know. Yeah.
Yeah. So and that's kind of where Willian plays, and I don't know if Willian's going to stay, but it looks like the big rumor is Hazard's going to Real Madrid. So I don't think they're looking at Pulisic as a replacement necessarily, but he's somebody that can fit in that role on that, on the wing somewhere.
For sure. And I mean, Chelsea has a lot of young talent too. They have that Musonda kid, Charlie Musonda. He's on loan right now, so I think that in the offseason it'd be a good opportunity. He's a young Belgian player.
Oh, okay.
I think it's a good opportunity for him to try to win a spot and get some good reps in too. Asari's an excellent coach.
Yeah,
so
sure.
Coming up under that tutelage too is great.
The thing about Chelsea that bothers me is that Welsh dude with that hair. Like, it bothers me when the Appadoo guy or whatever his name is.
Oh, yeah, he's
like,
wild.
That bothers
they
me.
got that guy shit out of the street of Portland or something. He was on the street in Portland asking for food, kicking the ball around. They're like, you want to play for Chelsea?
Like, I know he can play a ukulele. Like, I know that.
Like, does he get an iron and flatten his hair into dreads before he goes out on the field?
Like, it bothers me, dude. But anyway, Pulisic to Chelsea, £58 million. I will say this about Pulisic as well. Like, they didn't win very much, like trophies with BVB, but he did. They did win the Pokal Cup, 2016 season.
I remember that.
Yeah, and he won the penalty that was made by Aubameyang for them to win the game. He won that penalty.
And I believe last year in Champions League group stage he was doing pretty well as well.
He won some award, like breakthrough Champions League player. He won that at some point.
I felt like he had like 3 and 4 or something. He did pretty good.
He's a good player. He's solid. The criticism of the move, I'm like, well, why? He's a good player, and that's good for Chelsea. I mean, Chelsea's it's not just about the product on the field. You also have to think about marketing as well. You're getting that American audience, I guess, even though I don't think soccer is growing in America, but whatever.
No, I mean, this is no. Anybody that tries to argue this means soccer is growing in America, you're absolutely wrong because
you're wrong.
He didn't come up through America's MLS academies or any of that stuff.
He's been in Germany for a very long time.
Came at a young age and grew there. It's only showing that going overseas is still the answer to developing soccer.
Yeah, absolutely. And it'll be interesting because he's going to be playing out the rest of the season with BVB. Obviously, he's not getting as much playing time. Jadon Sancho is taking his spot, and there's somebody else kind of like taking his minutes too. I haven't watched very many BVB. I don't really watch Bundesliga, but he's taking Pulisic's spot, which is like shows you that he's very good because Pulisic, that was his spot kind of. Even though he didn't start that Pokal Cup final, he didn't start actually. But since Jadon Sancho's taking his spot in a sense, Jadon Sancho's obviously pretty good. Pulisic getting demoted at this level of his career is kind of like I don't really know what's going on there. And then to get demoted at BVB and then to get kind of like a promotion to go to Chelsea.
It's weird.
It's weird, but
usually this kind of, the typical move is he has a breakthrough year. The next year he doubles those stats or something, and then he goes big. To kind of have a step back a little bit.
And then go to Chelsea. I'm like, why didn't Chelsea get Jadon Sancho? You know what I mean? Like that would make more sense. It'll be interesting to see if Jadon Sancho leaves in the summer too.
I'm a skipper. I thought a move maybe to West Ham or something would have been like a move I could see. Some mid-table Premier League team would have been cool.
From BVB though,
but I mean, no, I mean for him, I mean, look, I know, but you're getting if I'm Pulisic and I'm like, look, man, like I kind of did this, but I need to I want to be on an English stage. I want to be getting more American audiences, all this and. Going to even a West Ham or Wolves or wherever, that's I'm saying that's getting him a different type of exposure. I'm not saying it's a better move for his career, but maybe perhaps right now, if you had a demotion, where you're not playing as much and you move to a Wolves or that, I'm not mad at that. But you move to a bigger club, honestly, arguably a bigger club.
It's definitely a bigger club, and it's interesting to me. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, what's going on there? Is it more for the marketing? Is it more for the player?
I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see what they do and what they do with him.
Yeah, I think, but if I had to speculate, I think he's going to be successful at Chelsea. I can imagine him playing very well, linking up with whoever they end up getting at Chelsea. It seems like Hazard's going to leave. I don't think they're going to be as good without Hazard. He's a phenomenal player.
That dude is a game changer.
He's
literally a game changer. You put him in the game, it's a whole different field.
He's, in my opinion, when it comes to offensive players, he's top 5 for sure.
At one point, he was fighting for that 3 spot with Neymar. Like I saw that too. He was going for it.
And somebody could argue him over Neymar. I wouldn't be so mad at that.
I would entertain it.
Yeah, for sure. And I definitely put him over Mbappe. Another thing with Pulisic too is like he didn't play in this last World Cup. Like I'm like, it's not like it's his fault, but it's like,
he was part of the team that didn't make it to the World Cup.
Yeah, it's kind of like
he was in that game starting.
Yeah,
in the game that got eliminated when they were Trinidad or something, right? Or no?
They lost to Trinidad. Yeah. It's not like he was playing defense.
He was on that field and then walked off and went home after.
Yeah, it's kind of like, but we'll see. On some level, you have to trust the process at Chelsea. There's smart people there, I'd imagine. But we'll see. I do think it's going to be successful for him. I think he's a really good player. But we'll see. Because he did get that spot taken from him by an English player.
Who's balling?
Why is his
name Jadon now?
Why is that name Sancho? That
wow, I got questions.
Yeah. I'm actually not going to get into it because we're trying to be. We'll get into it on the podcast though.
Yay.
Okay, we made it. We'll be right back. We're going to be talking about why Real Madrid sucks this season. Be right back. And welcome back to We Made It. #1 football show in the world. Caesar, we talked about Pulisic going to Chelsea, £58 million, big move there. I don't know who in the world Real Madrid's going to get so they can be an actual good team this season. They're a bad team right now. They look really bad.
But they did win.
They did beat Leganes today in the Copa del Rey, which is whatever. But
Real Madrid Copa.
What are you talking about?
It wasn't. I think it was RM Copa, not Copa del Rey.
No, it was Copa del Rey.
Really?
Please relax. You're sick in the back cave. Just relax. Stay there. Okay, Caesar, Real Madrid. Let me read this off. They're 5th place in the league right now, sitting 1 point behind Alaves. 9 wins, 3 draws, and 6 losses. Sounds crazy. They got 30 points. Okay, this is the crazy thing that I read right now. That I saw earlier. They have 26 goals in the league. They're tied for 6th place. They have 23 goals against, tied for 12th place. They're so bad. They're like, aside from the numbers, which I do have some more I'll say in a second. I think their only good game this season, like since the season started, was when they played Roma in the first Champions League group stage match, which was September 19th. I think that's the only good game I've seen them play all season. And since then, it's been really, really bad. Yeah. What's going on with Real Madrid? Your second favorite team after Manchester United.
I feel like we say this every time, but how are you expected to have the same amount of productivity in the following season after you got rid of a player with one of the biggest, some of the largest stats in history? I believe the year before 17, Ronaldo had 44 goals in 44 matches.
I thought you said one of the best players. I heard Cavani, but yeah, go ahead.
Oh, of course. So you have 44 and 44. What would you replace that with? Raheem?
No, you mean like who do you or who did?
Who did you? Nothing. No replacements. Nothing. You did nothing, and then you bench players who performed the year before, and you fired a coach.
You mean Isco, right?
Yeah, and you fired a coach.
He didn't get fired. Zidane? Or are you talking about Lopetegui?
Lopetegui.
Oh.
You fired a coach that basically is doing the same thing as the current coach is doing now, mediocre to worse.
Okay.
So I just think it's ridiculous right now. I don't think the right steps are being made. I don't know what apprehension Real Madrid has. After the last year in the summer after the World Cup, Hazard literally was like, talking about coming to Real Madrid. Why did that happen? That's not exactly the answer, but it's an answer. You don't get any results. You don't know till you try. And Real Madrid was just sitting pretty on what they had, and they're kind of learning their lesson right now because those stats are abysmal.
Caesar, their -- goal scorer is Benzema. He has 7 goals in the league. There's 11 players in front of him. After Benz...
Where's Bale at?
After Benz, the next highest goal scorer is Sergio Ramos and Gareth Bale on 4 goals.
Oh, my God.
Their highest... The player with the 2 players with the most assists are Benz and Modric. They both have 2 assists. They're terrible. And honestly, it pains me to watch them play because it's funny. It's not like they play bad football, but there's just so much intensity lacking. And I feel like other media outlets that I've seen... they're just really reluctant to say that they miss Ronaldo. Like they're really reluctant to say that.
They needed that guy with the hand on the trigger.
Like even when I was watching them play Leganes today, I'm like, you just need like Ronaldo is like a fire starter. You need somebody who like the defenders and the team is like afraid of, and who like is electrifying. Like Ronaldo touched the ball, it's like electric.
And you need a 1v1 threat.
Yeah, you need a 1v1 threat. And they're also, I saw something with Craig Burley. He was like saying stuff like, don't criticize Bale. I'm like, you're obviously not watching him play because Bale's been so boring. Awful. I watched the game against Real Sociedad. They lost 2-0, and I have some show notes about that. We're not going to get into that right now, obviously. But, you know, like Real Madrid's just boring. Like, even when they have chances, it's just boring. And I don't know what's going on. Like, they're just missing so much fire. And it's like, it's a shame that they didn't try to get somebody in the summer. I thought, it seems like they thought that with Bale and Benz and Isco and whoever they had, Vasquez and Asensio, that they would be able to get it done. And and maybe it was Florentino Perez's ego. Like, oh, we could have done this without Ronaldo. And it's like, no, dude, you can't. You can't.
I mean, I don't know, but just know that, you know, last year Bale was complaining about not getting playing time and acting like he's going to be this guy that we've been waiting for. Or everybody has so much hype about him. Yeah. 4 goals, where you at, honestly?
Yeah, no, 4 goals in the league in 18 games. In 18 games. And now he's injured again. It's like...
How do you have tied for goals with the center back?
Literally. Well, I think Ramos' goals are all penalties. But
so,
I feel you.
Not a thing.
I feel you though. Here's also what I think too. Maybe people don't think Ronaldo was playing for the team, and maybe Florentino Perez thought that too. And maybe when people think about Ronaldo, they don't think of him as a team player. You know what? Let's say that's the case. But at least Ronaldo had so much pride for himself that he's never going to go out there and not try to dominate.
That's true.
If it's not for the team, it's for himself. And like, whatever you have for the team, if he has it for that, like, it's the same as what he has for himself. And I'm assuming that he wasn't playing for the team, which a lot of people think about him. If he's not playing for the team, whatever he's doing for himself is enough to propel your team to 3 Champions Leagues in a row. They're missing that fire, that intensity, that somebody who cares so much, they want to perform every game, who trains harder than everybody. They're missing that fire, and I don't know what's going on with Santiago Solari. I don't know what he thinks, like, but putting Isco on the bench, like, I don't know what he thinks that's doing for his team. He's the best player you have.
Don't let anybody lie to you and tell you that Solari was a good coach. I believe under Solari, because he had
the worst season, if I'm not mistaken.
One of the worst seasons ever. And I think that's what brought him down to D3 at a certain point. But, so, Solari's never been a great coach. He's just a player who's getting a little payback for his paid dues being on the field. Mm-hmm. And it's just showing right now. This is not the answer. No. This is not the answers you're looking for.
No. You're talking about a team that's one of the elite teams. Even though I feel like even with like obviously you got to bring up Barcelona. Barcelona doesn't even look like that elite team since Neymar left, in my opinion. Like, they've won and they've done well, obviously, but like there's something missing in their gameplay.
You can see it.
Yeah,
and they got the wrong replacements.
Yeah, but like they're still winning and they're still doing well. They still have Messi. With Real Madrid, like without Ronaldo, it's just not the same. Literally, I've seen one game where they played well. It was 4 months ago. Like, now it's like, what are you gonna do? They got what's his name, Brahim Diaz in this January transfer window.
Another young guy.
Yeah, another young guy. As
if that's what you were needed. I mean, in Brazil, not only do they already have Vinicius Jr., they also signed Rodriguez, a little young guy from Santos, a little speed demon.
Yeah,
you already have 2 wingers that everybody's already talking about you. So you sign another?
Yeah.
I don't understand it.
And I was going to talk about Vinicius Jr.
Here I am thinking a Man City... Sorry about that. The Man City transfer. You know, you're looking for a Sterling, even a Mahrez. I don't care what you can get. I don't care what it is. You get Brahim Diaz, dude?
Yeah. And speaking of Vinicius Jr., like, he's somebody that plays on the left, and they're like, okay, maybe he can not replace Ronaldo, but kind of be somebody over there. Vinicius Jr. is good. And there's something electrifying about him. But he's not that guy. No. Like, he's not that guy yet.
And it's not his time yet.
No.
Because even Ronaldo, when he came in from Man U from Sporting, it wasn't his time either yet. Everything takes time.
It takes time. He's a young guy.
But the thing is that's annoying. I think even I'm going to be real with you. If I was a Real Madrid player, I'd feel disrespected. Because a lot of those guys are guys plus 30, doing their thing. And it's the twilight of their careers. They're trying to get it cracking one more time. And what your answers are buying a bunch of you bought 3 young wingers since the departure of one of the best players in the world?
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Yeah, and also I think they could have used a center back too, because Ramos is getting up there. But yeah, Vinicius Jr. He's not a replacement for Ronaldo. He's a good player. There's a part of me that feels like he could kind of play in the middle. I don't know.
I don't know.
Like there's a part of me that feels that way
really
because
seems
he's
like a cutter to
silky.
me.
He's silky though.
He is. He moves around really well.
Yeah, he does. He does move very well. But it's not in the middle as a center forward, but like behind a forward.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Like a cam kind of.
Yeah.
I can see that too, honestly.
Yeah. He's good.
And then he's both sides. I mean, I remember for Brazil's youth team, I believe it was a U17 game against Uruguay, which I watched at 3 a.m. He's playing on the right side, so.
I remember you was getting on me about watching Syria versus Australia at 5 p.m. or Iran versus Syria at 5 p.m. But you get to watch U17s at 3 p.m.?
3 a.m.
3 a.m.?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. But yeah, Real Madrid right now, I don't know how they can get it together. I don't know. There's no player to buy in the January transfer window that can make your team better for real. I don't know what they're going to do in the summer. I think Hazard would be good. He's also going to be 29 soon. I don't know though. It's like, what are you going to do to change the gameplay? I think you have to have Isco out there. Like, you got to live and die by Isco. Like, you can't be like, oh, maybe without Isco we'll be... No, like, you need to put Isco on the pitch. He's too good to leave him out. I think Llorente is good. Casemiro's looking shaky lately. Maybe he's kind of, like, still getting fit. But I want to see Real Madrid playing good, and they basically are a bad team right now.
I agree.
And it'll be a travesty if they don't make it to Champions League. But that's like, they have to consider that now. Like, they really have to consider, like, not making a Champions League spot. And that's terrible. Maybe you'll put another team ahead of them. You'll have Man U, Bayern, then Real Madrid, because you used to be a Chelsea fan. And that went away. So maybe you'll start being a Real Madrid fan. Just like you kicked out Chelsea from your fanship.
It's time to expose me. Go ahead.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, that's We Made It. Number 1 football show in the world.
Pound for pound.
Oh man, I was hoping you wouldn't do that. Make sure you subscribe to everything we have. We made it everywhere. Gonna be doing these amazing shows soon for you everywhere. Keep it locked. We Made It. What else do I have to say? Caesar in the Batcave. Let's find him.
No.
Keep it locked.
No invitations, we showed up and made it. No invitations, we showed up and made it. No invitations, we showed up and made it. Showed up and made it. Showed up and made it. It can get scary when you legendary.